The NFL season is here, and the Lockdown Defense Sports Network welcomes you to another NFL season. We are here to give you a front row seat to the pulse of the NFL. Join us every Tuesday night as we break down the latest news, dissect the hottest headlines, and fire off fearless predictions that might shape the future of the league. From the locker room drama to game-changing plays, we're just not watching football, we're living it. As the entire hit squad with young RG Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, and yours truly, Coach Defense, joins forces with the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, Violator, and the Saudi pirate himself, Captain Jack Rackham. So buckle up, because this isn't your average recap. This is the Lockdown Blitz, where the takes are bold, the insights are gritty, and the passion runs deep. Let's go. All my heavy hitters and lockdown defenders, welcome to the Lockdown Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Defense, alongside the hit squad, Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, young RG Robert Garcia, and we're joined today by the NFL Nation Live crew, Ref Guru, the Violator man himself, and Captain Jack Rackham will be along in a minute. He's in hair and makeup right now. He's getting ready for the show, so we're going to get things rolling. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Ready for week 4.
Yeah, we're on to week 4.
Coach, wait, let's soak in week 3 a little bit, gentlemen. Let's
do we have to?
Too quick now.
I'm already soaked.
Yeah.
Let's bask.
We're drying off now.
Yeah, we're basking in the glory of 3 weeks of good football. Let's do it. Let's do it, indeed. But let's go around the room, man. Let's see how everybody's feeling. Check the vibes real quick. Coach Mike Dubb, how you doing, good brother? Welcome back. Fresh off your South American excursion. We appreciate to have you back in the building. You know, he almost didn't make it back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to let y'all know we almost lost Coach Mike Dubb, y'all. Yeah. We almost lost him. I think you muted, good brother. I think you muted.
There we go. See, I'm still getting back.
I got to work the mic.
Yeah.
There we go. Right.
I did. You know, I'm all over the place, but I'm glad to be back just in time for week 4. It's an exciting season. I'm rested up, ready to go. Indeed.
The real AG Alex Givens, good brother. How you feeling?
Man, I'm doing good, Coach. Yeah, finally my team got a dub. So, hey, we enjoyed week 3 and excited to see what week 4's got in store.
Indeed. Young RG Robert Garcia, good brother. How you feeling?
Oh, Coach, it's all smiles over here, sir. You already know how I'm feeling. We're feeling great right now, even better than last week.
Indeed. Ref Guru, good sir. How you doing over there? How's everything in Cali?
Wet, but all right. I'm a little worried about the Ravens.
Yeah, I saw my. Yeah, I tweeted
I'm
about
not. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Better be a big piece of wood.
I got Joe Boo with me. We're going to be fine.
That's Joe Boo. Joe Boo? Buddha, Joe Boo. I don't want to troll out of you two. Yes, indeed. The Violator man himself. Good brother, how you feeling? What's going on with you?
I'm feeling great, but my team is not. And that's about the sum of that whole conversation.
I hear you. But hopefully better days are ahead. They're just getting things going. It's still early.
Hopefully.
It's still early. Yes, indeed. So, yes, like I said, we'll get an appearance by Captain Jack Rackham here shortly here. He's having some, I guess you can say production things going on in the back. You know, he has to make an entrance. Y'all know how he is. Y'all know the vibe. So this is the Lockdown Blitz, our weekly NFL recap show. So we're going to get into everything that is talking about week 3. When I tell you week 3 was definitely one for the books. You watched our show from earlier today. We just might have had turned the whole league on its head this week. I mean, we can predict much of nothing that's going on. We struggled with bets. We struggled, with predicting lines. We did a lot of struggling this week and a whole lot of special teams play. That's for sure. We might even see Isaiah Rodgers' jersey in Canton with his performance with the Vikings. But Yeah, man, there's a lot going on. But as we like to open the show, we like to get some talking points going when it comes down to NFL officiating and anything that's quote unquote controversial that happened within the football week. So we're gonna get into our first segment of the week. We're gonna talk about some things about refereeing. Of course, we got our illustrious ref guru here. So we're gonna get into our segment called Ask the Ref. So yes, we're going to talk about anything that was controversial, any bad calls that went down and things of that nature. So to start things off, Ref, I want to talk to you about a couple of things here. There was a quote unquote controversial, not necessarily call, but there was a subsequent fine given out in regards to what you would call a leg whip. A few of my Chargers fans on Twitter and Instagram and things of that nature hit me up and said, if you get a chance, ask ref, what is his definition from a referee perspective, what a leg whip is and how do you officiate that within game? And I actually have a clip to show you as well in regards to that. So, give me your definition of it and we'll replay the clip in question and you tell me how would you officiate that in real time?
Yeah, that's a good one. Leg whips are an intentional act by a player to try to use the leg, if you will, as a way to try to bring down a ball carrier or affect a play in some way because they can't otherwise make a tackle. Some of them can be incidental contact if a player gets upended and is rolling or whatever. But it's like a lot of the stuff we talk about on this show and have talked about in the past. Those can be subjective calls. So a lot of it has to do with where it happened on the field. What's interesting about that particular type of call, though, is it's a personal foul. So it really doesn't matter where it happens on the field. In other words, some calls might not get flagged if they don't have an impact on the play.
Okay.
Right? There may be some subjectivity. For example, if a pass play is going down the field, or let's actually take a running play. We take a running play where just use that picture you got up right now. Let's just say that the Raiders, if that's the Raiders, are going to run the offensive play to the left, and the right tackle might be holding. Is it really holding if it didn't impact the play? It's a judgment call. It might not be. But in this case, personal fouls, it doesn't really matter where they happen. They don't have to impact the play. They're generally going to get flagged. But again, a leg whip is an intentional act by a player to try to make a tackle or impact a play. Where it gets weird, guys, is if the player is trying to defend himself, right? They may use the leg to try to ward off someone who won't get off of them, or they think needs to move and isn't moving. So there could be some subjectivity there, but generally if it's they're often against offensive linemen because they get knocked down or they roll over, or maybe a tight end rolls over, they're going to swing that leg up. If it gets above the waist, that's going to be problematic.
Okay. All right, so let's roll the clip real quick. This happened in the Raiders Chargers game, ironically, and Derwin was not flagged on this play, but he was fined subsequently by the league for a leg whipping in the post haste of this particular order.
Okay, and who's the foul on?
Derwin James.
Okay.
All right, so I'll roll it for you. It's actually give you a bunch of different views on it, so I'm gonna roll it to its fruition. I think give it 3 different views. There's a swing pass to Gency. He spins on him. He misses Derwin flat out whips on the tackle, and they said it was a leg whip in that particular instance. And they're gonna give you an end zone view here. Like I said, flat pass. He spins on Derwin. Derwin, kind of flops because he spins on him, and that was pretty much it. Here's from the back end of the play. Yeah. I didn't really see anything there in regard of an intentional act of me trying to use my legs to, quote unquote, stop the ball carrier in its excess based upon your description. But they did find him. They didn't throw the flag, but they did find him. So would you have flagged this in your mindset?
No, I don't see anything that's flagged. The only reason why I would think maybe there would be a subsequent fine or penalty is if he gets hit in the head, right?
Okay.
So let me get, I'm not that familiar with the players. This still shot that you have right here, the ball carrier's down.
Right.
Is the penalty on the player directly above the ball carrier?
Number 3. It was on number 3.
Oh, number 3. Okay, can you roll that back?
Yep, sure can.
So I can see that.
Be delighted to.
All right.
So it happened here when he actually was going to tackle him. Genty spins on him and causes him to miss the tackling entirely. And he said because of the spin and his leg was out because of the spin, it kind of threw him off balance. He said it was a leg whip, according to what the league was saying. And I'll forward to you. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I don't know what they're looking at there that would be finable. I don't see a flag. I'm not even sure he makes contact with the ball carrier, does he?
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
He needs to call up the doc because his ank's got broken on that one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So,
yeah. Okay. They basically just send him a hospital bill. They're like, here, you got your ankles broken. Here's the fine.
Right.
That's fine.
And some roses to go with that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, I would think if there had been a flag, it probably would have come from the line judge. But I would have to say I don't see anything there either. But these angles are not super great. There may be something from the field angle that we don't see there that maybe constitute that. I've certainly seen a lot worse. But I don't think number 3 is trying to stop the ball carrier there. I agree with you. I think that he left his sandwich in the lunchroom there trying to tackle the ball carrier and just couldn't either get out of the way or, it's just a physics thing, right?
Right.
But, if the league in order to have found him, the league must have found some sort of a safety issue there. But I'm not surprised there wasn't a flag. I don't see anything that would have been a flag.
Right. I mean, I think he wasn't expecting Genty to spin on him. I think that was the last thing he thought he might do. He thought he might try to run him over, but I didn't think he was expecting Genty to spin, which is, threw him off him and it's, caused him to miss the tackle. But again, I don't see it.
Well, let's go back to what I think is that when I said earlier, which I think maybe would clear this up, is that, leg whip is an intentional act.
Right.
The player knows that they've been beaten and they're trying to throw the leg up as a last-ditch attempt to try to stop a play. And this player that's there, he's there. I don't see an intentional act there. I don't see anything there that's intentional.
Sounds like the fix is in for the Raiders, if you ask me.
Well, I'm
based on past precedent. I'm just saying.
Well, I understand. Yeah, I hear you on that front. And I wouldn't disagree with you, but the league would have to come out and explain why they think that that's a finable offense. They've certainly not fined people for a lot more than that, or a lot less than that, or maybe a lot more than that. But I don't see anything there.
I could think of a reason why they would have wanted to find him. For one, he's a quote-unquote past offender. He has racked up suspensions, fines, penalties, personal foul calls in games multiple times throughout his career. Sometimes deserving of it. Yeah. Sometimes deserving of it, other times not at all. But, once you develop that kind of reputation, you kind of paint a target on your back. And
that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Although he was a dirty player. There was nothing on the fence about him. He was extremely dirty. But I will say that Derwin did go on the Pat McAfee show. I think it was after this game, but I don't think it was before that fine got handed to him. And he basically, said, the league is kind of turned a different direction. Basically called the league soft now without saying it. So it kind of, had a little hair stand up. Like, I wonder if this was a, indirect punishment to be like, hey, don't be talking about our league like that. Here's a fine.
Well, that makes more sense then, because again, I don't see an intentional act there. And I think that to have a leg whip, you pretty much got to have an intentional act. The reason why I say that is because you can have what looks like a leg whip, but it's just a physical player getting knocked down, rolled over, the legs come up. But unless they're trying to make contact or do a Dick Butkus left size 11 or size 12 to the crotch, I don't really see anything going on there that's finable. But
I got you. Yeah, final moments 18K for this, and I just feel like at certain points they're just trying to steal money from players. In that regard, I mean, it just didn't make any sense. Wasn't flagged, but you find them later on, and a lot of those fouls are just ridiculous in its own right because they're just no more bang bang football plays. And again, if it's not it's not a flag, it definitely shouldn't be a fine in my opinion. But
I agree.
Yeah, but that's where we're at in today's NFL. So yeah, I don't want to show you that particular aspect of it. Now, I did also have a quick question for you in regards to we'll come back to the main view. We got Captain Jack Rackham in the building. Good sir, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling pissed off, but we'll get to that later.
There you go. So yeah, I have one more question for you, Rev, and then we'll go around the room see if anybody else has any questions for you before we move on to our next segment. But I did want to get your quick analysis or your quick, I guess you can say, a talking point or definition for that matter in regards to the hip drop tackle. It's been a very contentious, I can get quote unquote subjective, to use your phrase, in regards to how things are called and how they're officiated. What is your quote unquote view on hip drop tackling, and how do you see it as from a referee's lens?
Well, for me, it's a fairly new phenomenon, if you will, as far as from the officiating standpoint. It might not be new from a football maneuver or football tactic, but here's what's going to happen with that. When they first started to try to do the horse collar, you remember it's like, okay, he's got to have his hands in the back behind his neck. He's got to have 4 out of 5 fingers with the thumbs out. And then he's got to pull them straight to the ground. And then they finally said, well, we can't officiate this like this. If you put your hands inside the collar, that's a horse tackle. It doesn't matter whether you got 1 hand, 1 finger, 2 fingers, thumbs in, thumbs out, whatever the heck it is, that's a horse collar. Right. And they made it easy. They're going to have the same thing with this hip drop tackle. They're going to have to define it, I think, a little bit more. I think it's a safety issue, and I think they should coach it out of the game so we don't have to try to officiate that nonsense. But if they're not going to coach it out of the game, for example, the league's going to get with the owners, and they're going to say, do you want this out of the game? And the owner's like, no, it's football. Okay, well, then you got to go to the coaches and say, we'd really like for you to coach us out of the game. But if you're not, then it comes down to the officials, because they've passed the first 2 tiers of we're going to let this go, just like the tush push, right? They went to the owners, and the owners like, nah, it's cool. But, now we got to officiate it. And so they said, well, we're going to call it tight. Well, you can't call it tight because it's not humanly possible. When we got 22 guys all stacked down in there, you're not going to see those false starts. So same with the hip drop tackle. If it's not a reviewable play and they want to officiate it, they're going to have to start making some of these plays reviewable, because you really just can't officiate it in real time at NFL speed unless you've just got it, unless that's your key as an official. It's right in front of you and you can see it plain as day. You'll probably get a flag. But if there's any kind of an angle that's going to make you question do I have it or do I not have it? You have 2 choices. Flag it, and you use the defense of, hey, it's a safety issue. I threw the flag, and the NFL has to say, sorry, but yeah, that's the way it is. And then everybody else gets all twisted about it. Or they got to go back and define it and say, anything that looks like a hip drop tackle is going to be flagged, and then the coaches are going to have to live with that because the owner said, yeah, we're going to leave it in the game. The coaches aren't going to coach it out, then they're going to have to figure out how to define it. Okay. But it's from an official standpoint, I'm glad I don't have to officiate that, because I don't know. I don't know what the criteria is. We still don't even know what a catch is. This whole he's got to take right 2.5 steps and survive the ground and all this other nonsense. It's like, I don't know how you officiate these games these days, but I think they can see a hip drop tackle if it's right in front of them. If it's not, and the angle's not good, and if it's not reviewable, then the NFL's basically said, well, you get a flag or you don't, and that's how the cookie crumbles.
Right.
Well, not for nothing, I've collared a few horrors and dropped a few hips before. Just saying.
Of course. There we go.
And he's back.
The rail's off. The rail's off.
Yeah. Hey, I had to wait for you. I might come in banging, baby.
Yeah, probably replaced a few hips too, but
Maybe. Yes, indeed. But I bring that up because I found it very interesting that the Cowboy fans were in an uproar because CeeDee Lamb got hurt on what they called a hip drop tackle. But what really happened in the play, we really watched it. Noah Sewell got stiff armed. He fell to the ground and he fell on his ankle. It wasn't an intentional hip drop situation, but once Cowboy fans all in the rage because CeeDee Lamb got a high ankle sprain now and he's out, maybe 3 to 4 weeks. So that's all the rage now.
And their season's on the brink. But this is what you get into, right? It's like, oh, well, the tush push, we're going to let it in the game until there's a false start in the Super Bowl and everybody will be all their heads. But that's the way the NFL decided they're going to do it. The officials are going to take the brunt of it because the one thing that it's not going to be is consistent. And that's going to be problematic. The leg whip thing that you had there, or alleged leg whip thing that you had there, is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the NFL's getting to the point where it's like, well, there's nothing to see here, but if we say it, that's what it was, and all of us are going, really?
Right.
Like no, but it's entertainment, and that's going to overrule a lot of stuff at this point, I guess.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So that was all my litany of questions. Does anybody around the room have any questions for Ref before we move on to our next segment?
I was going to piggyback on what Ref just said about the officiating, the flow of the game. Here's my take on the league. Anything that slows down the flow of the show, they have issues with it. Now, they got new camera angles now, the electronic change now. So they're bringing all the technology in. But like we're talking about, the game is a contact sport. And that whole hip drop thing, it's like, well, how do you expect somebody to bring down, just say a Mr. Henry, for instance?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go head up with that anymore, looking at a business decision. So, hell, you're going to try to grab his hips and slide down and hope he falls,
Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and that's a good point, V, because if they made all plays potentially reviewable, then they would be able to, if you wanted some plays, you can't slow it down and say, yeah, that's what we have. And for those types of fouls, you absolutely can do that, because you can define what a hip drop tackle. If they've defined that it's a foul, then they have to have established some ground rules for what it is. And if you can have those plays reviewable, you could certainly do that. So they could take some of the subjectivity out of it if they wanted to, but they're stuck in this, well, those plays aren't reviewable. Well, then what's the point?
Right. There you go.
If you're not going to be consistent and you're not going to have all plays reviewable, well, then all you've got is a giant mess, and that's why we have a show every week, because basically that's what we have in a lot of cases, is a giant mess.
Yeah, that part too. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. There's a lot, just one big mess in certain regards, but I guess they're quote unquote trying their best, right? Jack Kenner had a question about ear hole tackling. I'm not sure if I'm going to explain this right. So, Jack, if you want to quote unquote give us more details on how you feel about it.
I think he followed up with it the second time.
Okay.
So he does it like tackling, I guess, pause if needed here. A finger gets in the ear hole and they pull him down by that way. The wet willy tackle. There we go.
Yeah. All you can do is get him to the sidelines and fit him for some BTEs.
I'd be like, you need to get tested after that, I think.
I mean, it's not a face mask. It's technically not a foul. You could probably maybe call it a personal foul, depending on the severity of it.
Could you call illegal hands to the face or illegal hands to the head?
Not really.
To the ear.
To the ear.
Because here, but
hip slap tackle.
Gave him a really 15 yards.
But your question there is good, because oftentimes for an official, the question is what's the impetus for that? If a player goes up there and shoves his thumb into the guy's ear hole and yanks him down by the helmet, that's going to be a foul. If in the course of making the tackle, his hand gets up in there and that thumb manages to get in there, he doesn't take it out, and he pulls the player down to the ground, not just by the ear hole itself, but by everything else, that's not a foul. So you have to ask yourself as an official when you're officiating these plays in real time at NFL speed, what was the impetus for that? And if it looks malicious, it's probably a foul. If it looks incidental, it's probably not. So that's one way to look at it.
Right. Yes.
I'll tell you one thing. I think we need to trademark one of these names for when that takes off.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. You might need a patent. We need our money for that one. Yes. We get into the realm of officiating the game like necessary roughness. 50-yard penalty. Bugusu out thrust to the quarterback. Kick to the up back. Never mind.
Yes.
It's a field goal. It's a field goal.
The call that got me over the weekend was the 3rd and long. I think the Chiefs had, and then they called illegal contact on that. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, right? I mean, just bail the Chiefs out of a 3rd and long by giving illegal contact. There was no illegal contact on that play.
I don't know which one you're
not by definition.
No, I don't recall that at all.
No, I mean, I don't know if you think of the one I'm thinking of. I'm like that look. I'm not going to argue with the ref, but to me, I'm like, yeah, it looked like a penalty. But hey, whatever.
It's always subjective when it's your team, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't have the footage queued up. So
yeah, I
wasn't prepared.
Right. The lawyer wasn't prepared. That's funny.
Yeah. He needs to check his briefs. Literally. There you go.
Good one. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But
yes, no brief messing. I deal with pressure, Cap, every day.
Indeed.
I had one for you, ref. I don't know if you caught it in the Philly Rams game. And I mean, I get it's a subjective thing. They called Puka for, I think, taunting, whatever the call is. He got a big first down. And I mean, I could see where they I guess to what you constantly say, depending on the angle and who made the call, I could see where they would see that and think he did it right over the guy. But I mean, to me, that was a pretty crucial call.
It was a crucial call, yeah. And I saw a lot of chatter about that, and a lot of people were angry that they got the taunting call based on the Tarzan move, right? This whole thing. But here's the thing: it wasn't just that. There were 2 other pieces of that element that got the flag. The first one is he gets up and spins the ball. If he'd have walked away, no flag. He gets up, he spins the ball, he sort of stands over the Eagles defender, looking down a little bit, kind of stands up over him, and then gives it a Tarzan move. 3 strikes are out. If he'd have done any one of those things without the other 2, probably not a flag. But he gets up, he spins the ball, he kind of stands over the player, and then does this. I'd have flagged him all day too.
Yeah,
so
the Rams Kringleberry method.
Yeah,
dude. 3 pumps is a penalty. Yeah, we know that.
Fans can bitch, scrap, and complain all they want to about that call, but when you're on the road like that, and you're in Philadelphia, and you're an official, and you want to get out of there without your cheesesteak being full of staples, you're absolutely going to flag that.
Cheesesteak full of staples, Jesus.
Oh man,
Philadelphia.
Don't teabag a guy.
That's what kind of show this is going to be. Jesus.
I had another one, ref. It's not related to NFL, but teabagging or NFL. But I don't know if you caught the Auburn Oklahoma game, and that,
I did.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure that's been making its rounds.
Yeah,
but
I missed it. What happened?
Well, they didn't. What I guess it was Auburn or no Oklahoma acted like they were going to sub someone off.
Yeah,
and then didn't, and then scored. But the ref should have stopped it to let Auburn sub.
Yeah,
and so they just called it a touchdown.
Yeah, so
like the hidden player trick.
Yeah, basically a hideout play. Yeah, this whole substitution thing is gonna blow up, y'all. And if the fire wasn't lit already between the college and pros, it's lit up now, and it's lit up for a couple reasons. First of all, the players basically got to come into the numbers, if you will, between plays. But the coaches have figured out how to creatively do this substitution thing. Not so much of the hideout, although the Oklahoma thing should have been exactly that, because that was that was basically plagiarism of the playbook at that point. But the NFL has gotten to this point now too. You've seen these umpires come in there and hold the offense up because the defense is supposed to have time to do substitution.
Mhm.
Look, this is pro ball. If you can't get your players in and out on substitutions, snap the ball and let's go. This holding up the offense, especially in a hurry up offense, but it is a problem. And I think that the defense just needs to be on the be ready to go. But the coaches have figured out that they can do this fake substitution, if you will. And it's confusing the defenses to the point now where the umpire basically has to come in and say, okay, is the offense substituting or is the offense faking like they're substituting? In other words, a player starts to come in, doesn't come out to the numbers, and he goes back off. Well, the defense has to have time to adjust. And so, or you send back in the old days, they used to send 13 guys out into the huddle and send one guy back so that you didn't know who was coming in and out. So this is going to be, we're going to see more of this. This is going to be problematic, and it's going to rear its ugly head in the worst possible time. They're going to have to figure out how to get the coaches to coach out of the game this artificial substitution thing. It caught the Packers and the Browns. It definitely caught Auburn and Oklahoma, and those SEC officials will pay for that. I can promise you that. They'll either pay with their assignments. They could pay with their career, but they'll definitely pay with probably not getting any playoff game. Yeah, it's going to be. I'll find out. They're being pretty tight-lipped right now. The official SEC statement was that they would handle things basically internally without additional comment. We'll find out what it is. The officiating community will find out what it is, and I'll let you know as soon as we find out what it is. But it's not going to be pretty.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So any more questions for a ref? Referee or call related before we move on?
Cap, real quick, you called me earlier about the play in Washington.
Yes, sir.
On that punt return for a touchdown that gave Washington the 27-10 lead. The Raiders player, the gunner, if you will, he went out of bounds, and because he didn't go out of bounds by being blocked out, and if he's blocked out, he's got to make an effort to come back in immediately, or what they call the next opportunity. You can't just run down the sidelines and decide to come back in for the same reasons we just talked about Oklahoma. But if you go out on your own, you better stay out. And he went out, stayed out, and that's a flag. So they got the flag. And when I said to you, when I saw the play on 360, it looked like there was another flag. It was not another flag. There was only one flag. The other thing I thought was a flag was a yellow shoe being worn by one of the Commanders players. I thought was a flag.
Okay.
They got me on that one.
I was there, and I called ref earlier. I said, Whiskey Tango Fox, and that's not for what the flag, the guy that's in our chat. I said, I saw not one, but two flags on the field, and ref clarified what the penalty was, because we were all thinking, it's either a block in the back or an illegal. So we're all going like this, like a holding, like, yeah. Oh, by the way, Mike, you kicked our ass, but I'll take care of that one real quick. It was horrible. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I see two yellow things on the field, and then it kind of picks up to, well, that was nothing. We're gonna screw the Raiders, but it was legitimate. It was legitimate as coach.
It was a good screwing.
It was a good screwing. Yeah, I know that girl. Anyway,
the other flag walked away.
Yeah. Unharmed by anybody.
Indeed. Okay.
Oh, the shoe. Okay, then I was like, I see two yellow. So never mind. But it was fun to watch, but not fun to watch in that time. Missed you much.
Right.
But hats to you, brother.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So now that's going to wrap up our Ask the Ref segment for the week. As always, we like to do this at the top of the show to get any latest and greatest advice on what will happen in the NFL and how will referees look at it from a NFL official standpoint, how things look real time and how ref would officiate if he were in that position. So Please leave your comments and let us know exactly what you had for him throughout the weekend. We'll get that answer throughout the show. But as always, Ref Guru, we appreciate you doing this segment with us. Are you going to take a leave now, or are you going to hang around?
I got to go, but I appreciate being here. Thank you all very much. Appreciate all the questions.
Get your best information on wet willies and tea bags right here on this show.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody, Ref Guru. Appreciate you, good sir. All right, man. So let's get into our next segment. Let's get into some headlines.
Hit Squad headlines.
All right. So the NFL is rocking and rolling. Week 3 it was like the Twilight Zone for a lot of people's, I guess you can say, fandom in that regard. A lot of special teams, block kicks, interceptions. Minnesota Vikings put up 30 points in fantasy. I mean, it's just a wild, wild west right here. No pun intended, right? So it is definitely a lot going on here in the NFL. So we're gonna talk about the headlines that are most buzzing. And what has my attention, now I don't know about you guys, but what has my attention, and it's still baffling to me why it's a thing. But ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Jones is 3-0. So let's start off with talking about the Colts. Should we be a believer in the Indianapolis Colts after 3 weeks?
I saw his face, and I'm a believer.
I like that, Cap. I like it. That's a good one.
You, baby. And I didn't have it keyed up. That's all ad lib, baby. That's why, hey, I can only do one show a night. That's
why we have you. That's why we have you. Indeed.
Handling that inner Shrek.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. So
the monkeys had it way before Shrek, brother.
He did. He did. He remixed it, but they definitely are the originators.
Yeah, I heard the original. It sounded a hell of a lot better. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. So let's go around the room and talk about the Colts. So let's get everybody's opinion on what they feel about the Colts. My good man Violator, let's start with you. How do you feel about the Colts and through 3 weeks of watching them pretty much dominate the football landscape, maybe one punt in 3 games? How do you feel about this team, and are you a believer that they can actually be a threat going down the road?
Well, yes, definitely I believe that they're a threat, but I'm not going to buy stock in the Colts horseshoe because of this. We've seen the history of that team. Now, yes, they're well coached. They've got some great players, but speaking of Daniel Jones, he brings that leadership that they've been missing since what was that quarterback?
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck. Yeah, they've been missing that leadership. So he's got enough weapons around him. He's been around in the league long enough to know how to facilitate. And that's what I'm looking at Daniel Jones. He's just a facilitator right now.
Okay. All right. So they definitely haven't had stability at quarterback for sure. Yeah. So they definitely have that. But I mean, I don't think anybody had on their bingo card that he was going to play like this, through 2 weeks of football. You
you thought Daniel Jones was going to bring stability to the quarterback position before the season.
You're a liar. So I'll toss it to Young RG next. Tell me how you feel about the Colts, and what do you believe? Do you believe in Daniel Jones and the Colts at this moment?
Do I believe in Daniel Jones? No. Do I believe in the Colts? Yes, because that division is very weak. The Texans, who we thought were supposed to steamroll that division and basically run away with it, look abysmal. You want to talk about, the Chiefs starting 1-2. I think the bigger headline for an AFC team is that Texans team starting 0-3. That is absolutely horrendous. So the Jags, they look very shaky. I got, me, Coach, I got no faith in T-Law or the Jags whatsoever
at all.
and then you got the Titans with a rookie QB in Cam Ward, and as much as I'm sure he's got a chip on his back, and as much as I'm sure that he can produce at some point this season, and for right now, it's the Colts division, man. And I mean, they're out to a huge 3-0 start. Not only has Daniel Jones just been, facilitating, but he doesn't have a turnover. He's got 3 passing touchdowns to three rushing touchdowns, 0 turnovers. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is running the hell out of that ball. I mean, he just needs to continue that no turnover streak and let, JT do what he does best. And, the O-line is fantastic. The defense is playing just good enough. I mean, contenders, I don't know, but they will definitely be a player in the playoffs.
Okay. I like it. Coach Mike Dub, good brother. How you feel? Give me your South America analysis on the Indianapolis Colts.
Is that why you played hooky? You were in South America?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that took a little precedent.
Okay. I want the scouting report of South America another time.
Yes. I got you. But yeah, to answer your question, I kind of agree with RG. I don't really believe, and I don't mean to say it as like a downplay on Daniel Jones or anything like that, but I just haven't seen enough from their opponents that they played. Talk about a bad Dolphins team, a bad Titans team, a decent, Broncos team that they barely got a win out of. They have enough weapons and Pittman and Warren and JT running the ball. They got enough weapons to compete with anybody, but once you start getting, to the meat of their schedule, I don't know if I believe in Daniel Jones. I don't know if I believe in the rest of this team to be able to beat the power hitters. They got the Chiefs later on. They got a tough one this week. So we'll see. As of now, 3 weeks into the season, I'm not sipping the Kool-Aid yet. I think that they have a capable team. I do think that they probably could be a playoff team because, like RG said, that division is so weak and they have every advantage on winning that right now. But as far as making some big headlines and making a push in the playoffs, I'm not ready to get on that board yet. But Daniel Jones is playing well. He's doing what he's being asked to do. They are able to win in multiple ways, not just throwing the ball. They've been able to win running the ball. They've been able to play solid defense, force turnovers. So kudos to the Colts that taking nothing away from them. But I need to see a little bit more out of their opponents. I need to see them going against, some of the big dogs in the AFC in order for me to say that I'm a believer.
Okay. I like it. Captain Jack Rackham, how do you feel about the Indianapolis Colts, and what do you think their chances are in the AFC?
Okay, not to do the segue to the song again, because that was just a good drop. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got to pat myself on the back. Here's one thing I said. Let's go back a couple drafts ago when a certain team drafted Daniel Jones and some Giants fans. I was there at the draft. I was right behind the guy who had the Raider meme of with the Clay Farrell. I was right next to him. Anyway, a Giants fan asked me, he said, well, what do you think of our quarterback? And he was kind of like, I don't really know what to think. I said, he is a Cuthbert, I believe was his coach at Duke, who had him right. Thank you. He was outside of 10. He was a 10 over to Duke, had Jones at Duke, taught him up all the good things. So he has the pedigree and he has the football IQ. Okay. Now, this is non-rhetorical. I want to hear it in unison. What do Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley have in common? They got rid of the friggin' Giants and when he went to 15. Okay, come on, that was so. Did I have to answer that? Jesus,
I wasn't sure if you were.
I never know with you if it's as simple as the Giants or.
I was expecting a sex joke.
Colorful, yeah. I kind of.
Hey, it's not. Wait, no. I'll do that later when the queue is up. Okay.
Yeah, save that for our Patreon, which is coming soon. Save that for our Patreon.
Okay. And remember, I haven't seen any of the notes for these. I'm coming. I just drove from South Carolina all day today.
Yeah,
literally drove all day to be here. I was here at 9:00. And then when y'all weren't here, I said, screw this. I'm going to eat the tacos that I bought for myself to get here in time. So I was here.
We have to discuss that later. You have a taco fetish. We'll talk about that later, though.
Well, yeah, I will talk about tacos because that's just so obvious, straight line. I'm not even going to go there. The other thing is, okay, Daniel Jones is playing, but he is a good quarterback with the right pieces around him and not muddled in mediocrity in a crap place like the Giants. Now, is he fantastic? He's going to win league MVP. Dub and I don't know who the hell else said that they had a weak schedule so far, but he's doing well. Taylor can run all the time, and their offensive line has always been decent. They're playing good. So I'm going to give an up check. Again, crappy division. He's playing well. Taylor's playing well. They could do well. Now, once they get some other opponents outside of the division, hell, I remember when the Raiders were undefeated in the AFC West, and they didn't go to the playoffs because they lost to everybody else. So it's one of those things that can be with the Jones and the Colts. So I'm counting on them to be a decent team, probably up around 500 or maybe even over. But in that division, they can win the division with an 8-9 record.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Real AG Alice Givens, how you feel about the Colts and their chances?
Yeah, man. I mean, I really don't think there's too much more I can add to it. But I kind of echo the approach everyone's taken with the Colts. Like, I mean, they're in they're in a weak division. They look pretty tough right now, just top to bottom as a team. And, you know, I think you can believe in the Colts. I'm going to wait and see if Indiana Jones goes back to being Danny Dimes at some point. But I kind of agree with, you know, what Violator and Cap said in that, you know, with New York, he was taken early on a crap team and was expected to be, you know, Michael Vick, like do everything for us, like be our whole offense. And that didn't really work. And then you see him now where he's not asked to do that. He's just asked to be a game manager, take care of the ball, and just have sustained drives. And it's working right now. I think this week will be a big test. I know we kind of said that with week 2 with the Broncos, but that's early in the year. Like, people are always figuring stuff out. Like, let's not forget, I think 2 years ago, Broncos lost like 70-0 to the Dolphins, and then their defense didn't give up any points the rest of the year. So I think week 2 is a little too early, but they do play the Rams, who are coming off of a pretty close game with the Eagles. Probably should have won. So I think this should be the test of, you know, are the Colts is Daniel Jones for real, you know, this week.
Yeah, I like that take. I think this is the very first set they're really going to get, because that Rams team is good and is pissed off because they, like you said, they should have won the Eagles game, so they should be playing real determined football on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that game, and I think that might be one of the games of the week. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I think that if they come out of this game playing like they played the first 3, then yeah, the Colts just might be legit, and I might have to eat my Daniel Jones words, but I'm not going to do it yet. I'm not a believer yet, me personally. I've seen too much blundering from Daniel Jones to believe that a 3-game sample size is going to make me think he's a Pro Bowler. So
he's on his last crusade right now, though.
Would you not say that he's playing a hell of a lot better than Richardson has played? And again, this is from a Gator. This is from a Gator.
We'll say that, yes.
Richardson is a hot mess, and I'm being kind because I could go a lot worse.
Yes.
And at least he has the pedigree and the knowledge to be a good quarterback.
Every QB in this league deserves a shot more than Anthony Richardson, dude. That man took himself out of the game, no injury. That's all I needed to see from him.
He was tired.
Yeah, because get the hell out of here,
quarterback, bro.
Get out of here.
What?
Nah. Respectfully, like, that is the one thing that is an automatic no for me. You take yourself out of the game when you're driving. Your team is looking at you as their leader, and you're like, "Hey, y'all, I'm gonna take a couple plays off." Nah. Daniel Jones, I believe in you, Indiana Jones. Let's get it done, baby.
That's funny. That is funny. So yeah, we'll see. But it's still a wait and see for me personally. We'll see how things flow. But we'll see how things change or maybe not. You know, when they face a little bit of adversity. So I'm looking to see more from the Colts for sure. Kudos to Shane Steichen though. You know, if he did fix Daniel Jones, he might be another quarterback whisperer that we're not giving credit to. But we'll see.
I mean, he might have had that moniker even before Daniel Jones. This might have just confirmed it. I mean, Herbert, Hurts.
Yeah.
Now
Daniel Jones.
Steichen deserved the. Hey, I did not do that. I did not flip out.
He might have did it himself. We'll wait.
Okay, I'm just saying. People always accuse me of taking people out of the studio, and that wasn't me. But like I said, Steichen is really good for things like this, and he was on the precipice of being canned. I almost put something in front of the can a little while ago. And, you know, he's proving that he is a capable guy for that.
I agree. I think that young core, you know, with Steichen, O'Connell, LaFleur, you know, just coming up from that, you know, either Shanahan or McVaytree, you know, the future is bright for these particular guys because they have not only genius level minds from a play calling perspective, they're really good leaders. That's definitely an underrated skill, because that's the thing you have to be. And nothing else, you got to be a good leader. I mean, ask Dan Campbell about that and how he turned around the Lions in 3 weeks.
My 10 caps, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how things flow with the Colts, but I'm intrigued, to say the least. All right, so let's move on to another headline. Let's talk about injuries. So injury bug has been biting hard. I think a lot of our teams have felt it in a lot of stretches already. We're only 3 weeks in. So, with only a 3-week sample size of all these injuries and major ones at that, multiple weeks, sometimes season-ending injuries, what does the panel feel like these injuries are going to do for the end product of the league? Should we be concerned at this point through week 3? Should we be concerned about injuries affecting the game? And will we have any players left by the time the season is over? I'm going to throw it to Captain Jack Rackham first and tell me how you feel about these injuries. And do you think it's an issue, and will it be a product killer down the line?
Yes, it's an issue. Yes, we're going to have to deal with it, because guess what, folks? Don't waste on that 17 games. It's uneven, okay? It's going to 18. It's going to 18, and then the NFLPA is going to have more players under. They're going to have to barter with the owners on this, but the owners got to have a product. The product is the players. They're going to have 18 games. It's coming in, but the other thing is that they've lopped off the preseason games, and it's unfortunate that basically the first 3 games of the regular NFL season is a continuation of what used to be the preseason, and you're starting to get your gears and grinding and getting all of the getting the hits in and all your muscles tightening. Hey, I hope it was good for you, Alex. I'll let you go for a couple minutes. But
yeah. I got EMP blasted.
But it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it's going to be. And again, it's only going to get worse, because they're going to go to 18. They're going to lop off another game, and you're going to see 2 preseason games,
right?
Unless they figure out in like the OTAs and the other things where you can actually do a little bit of hitting, so that people can get used to it. They're going to have to do something, or this is going to be the norm. And the first 3 or 4 games of the regular season is going to be a Whiskey Tango Fox event for the NFL.
Yeah, cool, Kev. That's a good question. I do want to address that before we move on to Mike Dub. I do believe that, to Cap's point, I think he alluded to what I'm going to say, is that with you lopping off another preseason game and adding another regular season game, we're going to see a slower trend and a slower build when it comes down to the early part of the season. The first month practically will probably be a continuation of preseason, them trying to find their footing, and that's if everybody doesn't get freaking injured before we get out of September. So I think that it could potentially water down the league and could turn some people off in the front end. They might start tuning in towards the middle to the back, and when stuff started to matter and games started to get really competitive and really high, heavy tilted. But I believe that it could add an adverse effect. It might be, of course, it's money driven. I'm not going to sit and argue that. But outside the money aspect of it, them generating more revenue for an extra game, it could ultimately water down the front end of the season, and people will kind of tune out in the sense where they say, I only kind of do what the NBA do. What people do with the NBA, they don't tune into the All-Star break. People would start tuning in NFL at the bye week. Week 10, week 11, week 12, and things started to really get hot and heavy. So that's a good question. I definitely like that. It might be a thing.
I'm sorry, Coach. I tune in June. That's when I tune into the NBA.
I'm kind of on Cap's side on this one. I feel like, the expansion to 18 games is obviously coming. That's no doubt about that. I think with that, we're probably going to get another bye week. I think 2 bye weeks is something that the NFL needs to strongly look at. DZ mentioned it earlier, increased roster spaces, or sizes, I should say. So there is going to be some adjustments that need to be made, internally once the expansion to 18 games is made. Mm-hmm. But I think the other thing with that is, with these other sports, baseball, basketball, even hockey, a lot of these viewers won't tune in, like you mentioned, until the All-Star breaks, until about halfway through, because those early, 2 months of the 3 months of the season don't really mean too much. With football, however, even with going to 18, that is still a microscopic amount of games for an entire season compared to, you know, what some of these other sports have. So I think regardless, you're still going to get people that are tuning in. You might even get more viewership because of it, just because people want more football. I think, you know, cut down another preseason game, add another regular season, the second bye week, like I mentioned. I think you play this right. If the NFL is able to play this right, I think they could really make a big jump, you know, in terms of viewership. They already have the international games. I mean, they're doing so much to really expand the audiences. So I think that, you know, there could be some downsides to it, but I think in the grand scheme of things, the expansion is going to be a good thing for the NFL.
Okay. The NFL wants the natural. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm so friggin' revved up from being on the road. Okay. The NFL wants was it the President's Day holiday that's in February? They want that as the off day after the Super Bowl. It makes so much sense, and they will get that schedule to 18 games so that the Super Bowl is on that Sunday before President's Day. It's so friggin' obvious. Even a clueless wino in Pickett City can figure that out.
Okay, Coach Mike Dub, how you feel about these injuries, and what's the ramifications of it for you, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, you know, to touch on the question about the 18 games, I do think that it will affect the product. One thing that I've noticed, similar to what Captain Jack says, is, you know, when you take away the preseason games, the biggest difference that I've seen, and I haven't been watching the NFL for, you know, 50, 40 years. I've only been around for, you know, a little over 30 years watching it. But one thing that I've noticed is that
60, man, Jesus.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, like you got some context behind there, but I can see the same context of the last 30 years is that when guys play less in the preseason and then they jump straight into it, there's no revving the body up. You know, so you take away a preseason game, and then guys go from not playing at all to just playing 60, 60-minute quarters and going full speed. Your body's not used to that. So, you know, with the practice schedule not being what it used to be, guys being, you know, more explosive athletes, of course, I think there's just a change in how guys condition their bodies to be able to play full seasons. And when you don't have a preseason, you know, or when guys don't participate in the preseason, which because people are afraid of them getting hurt. And remember, one of my takes for the preseason was, you know, shout out to there not being a whole lot of injuries. You know, I spoke way too soon because the reason why there weren't a whole bunch of injuries is because they were holding those guys until now, and now they're getting those injuries. So, you know, I think a few things are going to have to start happening. Guys are probably going to have to start participating a little bit more in their preseason and in training camp to get their bodies conditioned. I've seen something about playing surfaces, of course, as well. I think we do see an increase in injuries on turf as opposed to grass surfaces and things like that.
Specifically SoFi.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, another thing, you know, being a coach, one thing that I've noticed a big difference now between previous years is even the equipment. You know, guys don't wear the same equipment that they used to have. Now, a lot of these injuries are non-contact injuries, but the wear and tear on your bodies, they're not wearing those big neck pads and, you know, those huge pads or anything anymore. Guys barely wear any lower body pads. So, you know, you start getting thigh contusions, all those things, they start to wear on you. So, of course, you know, just evolution of the game, all that is going to happen. But I do agree that I agree with that. Should be all grass. But I do agree that increasing the games will affect the product. And eventually guys are going to have to start participating in preseason to get their bodies used to the wear and tear of, you know, a full game, full season. You know, so it's interesting. I'm not in favor of it. I'm an old school guy that keep it at 17 games or 16 games. I wish they would have, but I know it's coming. We just got to prepare for it.
Indeed,
I agree. 16 was a good amount.
It was a nice even number for me. It was a
Yeah.
nice even number for me. I liked it.
It just
But
made so much sense. 4 divisions, you know, like, or 8 divisions, like everything was in multiples of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was perfect.
Robert Garcia could figure it out. 4, you know, 6, you know,
like 4. I was like doing the math in my head. I'm like 4. Okay, yeah, that's 8, right?
And it's interesting because with people's shorter attention spans, I don't know why they would want to expand the season. And even if they wanted to do, they still could do 2 bye weeks at the 16. They're not going back to 16 games, so I don't know. There's no point me even saying this. But
Yeah.
even if they wanted to, even if they wanted to expand it, like Captain Jack was saying, and have the Super Bowl, have the season last longer, they could have put 2 bye weeks in there, 16 games, whatever. They could have been more, I guess,
Strategic.
creative with it. But
Yeah, more strategic. I agree.
yeah.
I definitely agree. Violator, good sir, in your infinite wisdom, how do you feel about the injuries and the ramifications of it for the season going forward?
Well, here's my take on injuries and football. First, and some of this info I've gotten from former players back in my era. First of all, these players are getting faster, bigger, stronger, all that good stuff.
Right.
But they don't get their bodies callous for full contact at full speed.
Right.
Even with a full padded practice, the 13 that they're allowed to have now, that's not enough. And that's what I'm hearing from the older players. That's not enough to get them ready. So when you go against an opponent, of course, that adrenaline's going, you're going full speed. Injuries are going to continue to happen. Here's the deal. It's not a big deal until the stars start getting injured, which affects the betting and all of that stuff. So I kind of get it, how it's all hand in hand. But in that game, you're not going to escape without injuries. And you notice the Super Bowl winners are usually the healthiest teams, or the healthiest teams go further in the playoffs. If your stars are injured towards the end of the season, you can pretty much hang it up. So it's just something that we as fans deal with. I'm sure the owners scratch their heads. The league, I'm sure they're trying to get a way around that. But if they get playing on pillows, it's still, without having those muscles, those ligaments callous from that contact. And that's why I love the two-a-days. Your ass is ready when the regular season starts. It separates the men from the boys.
Indeed.
So the injuries are just going to be part of this new NFL that we're dealing with.
I like it. Okay.
Coach, real quick, I know you got to move on to someone else's take, but hearing you say that makes me think, if you notice, there are less injuries in the high school level and on the college level, where they bang a little bit more, not as much as the NFL, but
And
even
they
though
don't
the
have
NFL,
preseason.
yeah, they don't. But you got college where they have their 2 scrimmages and spring ball and all that stuff like that. You very rarely see these big time injuries with college athletes. You see it every now and then. You very rarely see it with high school athletes. And of course, these are younger athletes, less explosive, less fast, but they also have less rehab. They also have, take less care of their body than professional athletes. But you just see they bang a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more consistent in their practicing and things like that. And like Violator said, I think they builds that callus.
It does. I mean, as a former player, I can tell you, I can attest to the idea of having your body be out of football shape versus in football shape. It is definitely a war of attrition. When you can practice, you can do all the weightlifting, running, skills training, all that good stuff in all the off season in those, 4 to 5 to 6 months that you have off, right? But until you put that helmet on, so you put them shoulder pads on, you start thudding with another man in front of you. It is a whole different level of, getting yourself in football shape. When they say football shape versus regular in shape, that is a real thing. It is an absolute real thing. And then you don't really feel like you're really ready to play football until about the 2nd or 3rd week of the season, because you really have gotten into that rhythm of hitting, and having that car wreck level collision, day in and day out. So it is a real thing. And I think that them taking away those practices and those full level contact, drills and things of that nature in a large space is affecting the ability to have that callus, to your guys' point. So I definitely attest to that. AG, do you got anything to add to this particular topic before we move on?
No, not really. I kind of was out for half of it, so I don't know what everyone said. But I agree with all the points everyone was making. But I just it's kind of an assumption of the risk when you play the sport. Football injuries just go hand in hand. Like, it's going to happen. Some years, some seasons are worse than others. It's just part of the game. But I do think that turf can play a factor into an increase in injuries are just some. I mean, I feel like we've seen a lot more Achilles injuries lately than in the past when people were just playing on grass. And I mean, I think stuff like that. There's a direct correlation, but other than that, it's like you could be as safe as you want to be. Injuries are still going to happen. Like life finds a way, as they said.
Okay. Malcolm.
Yeah. Getting deep here, a little philosophical.
Well, there it is.
Yeah. Chaos.
Chaos theory. I like it. Yeah. So so to put a bow on this topic, I think that the NFL the addition, it could be by subtraction. In all aspects, because you could be adding revenue and adding more football towards the fans, approval, because we get to see more games. But I think you're gonna be subtracted from the quality in its all aspects of it. But if you do that, you got to have 2 bye weeks, like RG said, and I think in the chat they said you got to have expanded to 60. I would even argue 75-man rosters just to have the able bodies to fight that war of 18 overall games on top of 2 preseasons and practice and OTAs and all the things that you do as a professional athlete. So I think they should definitely address all of that if they're going to do it. But because like Cap said, we're going to get there at some point.
And the NFLPA is like, yeah, give me all of those players. It's the owners that have always been I won't say what my word is for the last several months. It's the owners that are not
pay all that
in favor of it. The owners are not in favor because they got to pay them.
That part. Yeah, got it. Gotcha. Okay. Good deal.
Owners love a good new TV deal, but they hate having to pay more guys.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Offer more games, just with less people.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about this week 3 in its entirety. Let's get right into it. Right. So let's talk about your biggest upsets and biggest disappointments for week 3. Again, it was a topsy-turvy moment. Topsy-turvy. Did I lose RG? I think I did. Hold on.
He's here. He's just like not on the screen.
Got it. I get it. I'll fix it. But yes, getting into there he is.
Ousted me.
We don't need him. We don't need him.
Now we lost 18. Is that what we did? That's what happened?
I'm here, man. I think it's just the slide. Yeah, I don't see RG on the screen. I think it's just the slide. He's here. Okay. He's talking.
Okay, gotcha. All right, but going around the room real quick, you guys start with Dubs. Give me while I fix this slideshow. Give me your biggest upsets and disappointments for week 3 in your opinion.
I'd probably say the Packers. The Packers lost to the Browns. The Browns are not a very
hanging
good
fruit there, man.
The Browns are.
Damn it, he took mine.
Yeah, let me know what the scores again there, Dub, so I can figure out another game to you.
I mean, there's quite a few, but I look at that one because coming into the week, I looked at the Packers as being one of, if not the best teams. I think we said previously they were a team that we didn't see any weaknesses in, and then they turn around and then lose to the team that we probably saw the most weaknesses with. But I mean, it was just a bad loss for them. The Browns, Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in football. I mean, that's evident to me. But
did you see that clip where he just roasted the tackle and the tackle's like, Jordan, run!
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Look out!
That's terrible, man.
Dude, like
that's
screaming.
If that's not a testament into the kind of player he is, I don't know what is. But I think that was my biggest shocker. And disappointment is the Packers letting that one slip away after we had given them all the props in the world.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I definitely believe that was definitely a trap game for them. They didn't see coming. They were kind of flying high, smell their own, cojones per se, and they just fell asleep at the wheel and decided the Browns was going to let them walk all over them, and that didn't happen at all.
Just think if the Browns kicker would have started his season when everybody else did, they'd be 2-1 right now.
Talk about it. Okay, Cap Jack, what was your biggest upsets and disappointments for week 3?
Well, with that, I'm going to go with the unobvious. I'm going to actually say the other semi-big surprise. Then I'm going to quantify it with the crap I had to watch in DC. The Bears playing whoop ass against the Cowboys.
against Dallas.
Yeah. I mean
Dallas.
that was, I mean, unique to watch. I mean, when you go home from the game after being humiliated in DC, I heard that damn chant. The hell to the I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit anymore. Anyway, when you hear that all day, it kind of sucks. And then you go to the closest restaurant, which is Buffalo Wild Wings. That is not a plug. That was only because it was close to the place that was at the hotel, and it had food. That's all that goes for. So no, just say no to BW3, and unless you absolutely positively just need the barf. Okay, so go there. Yeah, I know you're not going to get a sponsorship on that, there, Coach. Hey, I'm zigging tonight, but Dallas just looked inept. Every time I looked up, it looked like the Bears were scoring again and again. And of course, that's not good for my Raiders, who have to play the Bears this next week. And I'm like, can we catch a break? And by the way, this is the other thing. If you want to beat the Raiders, make sure you have a backup quarterback playing for your team that week, because we cannot beat backup quarterbacks. It's true. I mean, the Bears a couple years ago had Tyler Bagent. You had Marcus Mariota, and I said Mariota's going to give us a better game than Daniels was. I'm sorry, Dub. Mariota was gunning, and it's like, hello, you know the guy can't throw, but they ran their asses off, and it's like, oh, what are they going to do? They're going to run the ball. So that's a combination for you there, Coach. That's a 2-for-1 on your question, brother.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the take. Hey, G, what's going on in your mind and your zeitgeist about your biggest upsets and disappointments of week 3?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest disappointment outside of all the ones that were already taken and or mentioned, I think
about 12.
Well, you talked about the Raiders. I wasn't going to do that one. So,
oh man, don't make me turn my butt around on you. I haven't yet to do this yet.
It'll happen at some point,
I'm trying not to.
But I think the Ravens, just the way they looked in that Monday night game. I mean, we knew it was going to be a close, hard-fought game, and I mean, it was close in the scoreboard, but like watching it, it didn't really feel close. And I mean, they gave up like 200 and almost 250 rushing yards, and it's just just like what's kind of been the identity of the Ravens to me, with the stout defense, like manageable enough offense to get things done. It's like just been flipped on the script this year. They have like no defense, and they're just in these track meets to try to outscore people. And it hasn't worked so far this year. So
Derrick Henry fumbling in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But I think just from the defensive perspective, like they just look so bad. I mean, I get they're playing like a tough strength of schedule and like top tier opponents, but man, like I said, it just like that Monday night game did not seem like an 8-point loss just watching it.
No.
So,
and I think the Ravens are starting to have this, ongoing problem in the early part of the season. Like last year, they had the same problem, and 2 years ago to the point when Miami put up like insane numbers on them in the fourth quarter. They start slow defensively for some reason. They got great personnel. They give up points after points. Somehow or another, in the middle of the season, they kind of figure things out, change some things around, move some people around, change some personnel, and they figure it out. But their defense has been porous in the first part.
It shouldn't be. I mean, they got one of the best middle linebackers in the league. 2 beast safeties, like
good corners.
Like
D-line.
Yeah, there were a few guys out, like Jair. I mean, he hasn't really played that.
I think Matabuke
was out. Yeah. Van Noy was out.
Their run defense was terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, so I guess like you said, they do kind of always start slow, but it just defensive wise, just looks bad so far. I'm sure it'll all change this week. But
Chiefs, right.
Chiefs offense may help them with that.
That's got to be a Harbaugh thing, man, because I saw a stat the other day where he has the most double-digit fourth quarter leads blown. And like
you're talking about John, that Jim, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about John. We are talking about the Ravens here. Yeah, no, I'm definitely talking about John. Yeah, so that is that's not a nothing stat. There's been a lot of a lot of harp on the recent years about Chargers charging games away. The Ravens have been doing their fair share of it as well. It's just kind of gone under the radar because they've made the playoffs so consistently. Lamar wins those MVPs, and they win their division constantly, honestly. Yeah. So it really doesn't go seen until they, ultimately flame out in the playoffs.
And that's because Harbaugh's gotten one of these. So. A Charger. Raven's gonna Raven? Nah, it has no.
No. That's why I didn't even say that.
Come on, man. It has zing. It has rhythm.
Harbaugh's taking the zing right out of it.
Okay, it's still week 3.
Yeah,
still week 3.
It is.
And
we're
to you, RG. Do you have anything that's upsetting or disappointing for you for week 3?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious, man. The Falcons have to be the biggest disappointment of the week, man.
Yeah, I was
talking about a last game that was somewhat close in the scoreboard. This game wasn't close at all. 30-0, straight shutout. Beat the brakes off him, as Uncle Shay likes to say. And I mean, this wasn't even I can't even be like, oh, Bryce Young coming out party. No, this was just Michael Penix, man. Or should I say Michael something else? Because that's what he played a lot like of this past week, man. Damn, bro. Two picks, I think 2 pick six. Were they both pick sixes? No, one of them was. One of them got very close. He almost had 2 pick sixes. One of them did go to the crib. One got tackled right at like the 10-yard line. But, I mean, just an all-around abysmal game from Penix. Not even 5 yards per attempt on his throws. Brutal. I mean, that is just abysmal. And for everybody that was saying, the Falcons have a really good chance to take a leap this year, and the division is very weak. They can easily make a wild card spot. And man, it's that division might be even worse than we thought, and we thought it was pretty damn bad.
Yeah. Good point. Violator, my good sir. Do you have anything that's upsetting in your mind or disappointing for week 3?
I'm going to say the upset one for last. Biggest upset to me was Detroit going in there, like somebody had said earlier, and just handling the Ravens on their home field.
Oh, yeah.
Since I've been watching them, or since Lamar Jackson came to the team, I've noticed once you get in his head early, which something happened that just threw him off his game early, he usually does not recover, and that was case in point was last night. And the physicality that Detroit brought on the road, man, that's what you want to see. That's playoff football to me right there. They came out of the gate smacking them around, and of course, Derrick Henry had his yards, but then he had that unfortunate fumble, and that was a turning point of the game for them. Biggest disappointment was the way my whole team, special teams, defense, and offense performed in Washington. It was an abysmal showing. They should have let some of the fans go and them stayed at home. It would have hurt us a little bit less. But to just not show up, man, it's just, and that's something they got to fix. I don't know what's happening internally, but Cap knows. When we get that gut feeling something's not right, we're usually right.
Yeah. When that Spidey says to get a tingling, you're typically not wrong, right? I like it. Okay. All right. For me, I mean, clearly, outside of what RG said about the Falcons, I think the whole hit squad it was high on the Falcons. Maybe they can steal a division. I think we all were on the same train of thought, and they making us look foolish. But on top of that, I had my eye on the Texans and how bad they look. My God, we did just the overall regression of CJ Stroud and that O-line, man. Like, I don't understand the thought process sometimes when it comes down to the old adage, and I guess it's an old school mentality in a sense, but it still rings true. You got to fortify your trenches.
Yeah,
that's still a thing. That is still a thing. You can't sell off your all-pro left tackle for peanuts and not replace them with anybody that's that caliber or is close to it. And then you on top of that, you're adding in a bunch of makeshift guys that were cast off from other places that didn't technically work out. A couple other guys you're developing that are still learning. It's a mess. And CJ, you can see in his footwork, his mannerism, his confidence, all of those things. Because I think we talked about this last week. It's a reverse thing happened with him, because they say typically quarterbacks figure it out by year 3 and they really start to hit their stride. He's regressing further in year 3, which is definitely something that you have to honestly and truly pay attention to. And, as much as they fortified that defense, as much as they fortified the weapons around him, they have not given him the protection that he needs to flourish as a quarterback. And without that, you clearly have nothing. And they are completely and totally out of sorts. And I'm not sure how you fix it at this point, because the good linemen are not growing on trees out here. You can't just go pluck a kid from college and say, hey, you're going to play in the pros now. We need you.
Unless you pick in the top 5.
That's next year, though. We got a whole
I know, yeah.
16
I
games.
know, yeah. I don't.
You want to see how much an O-line matters? Look at Daniel Jones. Look at how he was in New York versus what he's like in Indianapolis with that top 5 O-line.
That part.
I thought I said that. Jesus, were you not there on my segment there, RG? It's RG. No, I'm sorry. No.
You're right.
Okay, RG. AG. What are you, G's? What are you? The Charger G. Okay, how's that?
The Charger G. That's a good one. So yeah, I do believe that. But yes, you're both right. It is, Cap and RG are both right. It is definitely, something that needs to be reiterated. It needs to be said. It's definitely we can say it until they fix it. That's for sure. That is definitely it. So yeah, we'll see how things roll. But I do believe the Texans are in big trouble. They're in big trouble for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's move on down the line. Let's talk about our segment called Cover Forecasts, our NFL predictions. We got 2 segments here we want to cover real quick. First up on this radar is Contenders and Pretenders. As we tease in our NFL short this afternoon, we're going to talk about what's real and what's fake at this point in the season. We're almost at the quarter mark, and we can definitely see certain things are clear and obvious. What, to my Texans' point, it's clear and obvious that they're in trouble. So let's go around the room in reverse order this time. We'll start with Violator. For your mind and your perspective, who's real and who's fake, and who's a contender and a pretender in your mind?
Well, right now, my Raiders are pretending to play football. Contender-wise, I might have to go with Detroit, man. Until I see somebody shows me different, that team is focused even without Ben Johnson. You would think Ben Johnson was calling plays the way they were coming out of the huddle, and just smooth as fine wine, man. So kudos to the coach and all those guys. Those guys were focused. All that noise in the Ravens den got real quiet towards the end. So Pretenders, Detroit, Pretenders, Raiders.
I like it. And shout out to Dan Campbell, man. I got to give him credit. Because we were really, really anxious on the idea of how he was going to flourish with those coordinators being gone. Because we knew that Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson were rock stars. Now, those particular guys don't grow on trees. And for him to take about 2 weeks to get it going, but it's like they never left. The defense is playing good. The offense is moving the ball. That running back tandem they have with Almiron and James Winston on the outside. Listen, to the point where Sam Laporta's kind of afterthought, and he was a Pro Bowler 2 years ago. So they're doing big things out there, and the Packers are lucky they caught them early, because if they played them in a week or two, instead of playing them for week 1, it'll be a different ballgame, in my opinion. It'd be a different ballgame. They could be talking about a whole different conversation. So I would definitely agree with you on the Lions are hungry for sure. Pun intended. Pun intended. RG, what you got over there from Contender and Pretender?
So for my pretender, I'm going with the Steelers, man. They're 2-1, but it might be the fakest 2-1 I think I've ever seen. I don't buy into Rodgers whatsoever. They are the only team currently in a playoff picture, both AFC and NFC side, that have a negative point total differential. Everybody else is in the positive somewhat. They are the only team in the negative at a -5. The run game is not that great. The defense, which was supposed to be the kind of glue to this whole team, that was supposed to, Rodgers, hey, just don't turn the ball over. Give us, the best quarterback play we've had since Big Ben, which isn't a high bar, by the way. And, and we'll be good. The defense and Tomlin, they'll coach us to a win. And, man, they have just, like I said, 2-1. Yeah, if Rodgers went off, man, hey, hat off to him. He's a future Hall of Famer, all that, nothing but respect for him as a player and what he's had, for a career wise. But as far as this season, their only hope is that they've lucked into Rodgers being the second best QB in that division now, with Burrow going down with an injury. So maybe you sneak into a wild card spot. You know, you can make the argument the AFC South is just going to be all awful. So you have your one division winner there. AFC West, you probably get, you know, best case for Steelers, you get, you know, only 2 teams coming out of there. And then the AFC East, and then the East, you're pretty much banking on just the Bills coming out of there. So if you're looking at it in that scope, you know, that leaves 2 spots open for you. So, you know, the Steelers can definitely, record-wise, all that, make a playoff push, but they are full-on pretenders in my eyes. And for contender, you knew I had to do it. I mean, come on, the 3-0 Chargers, baby. It's
oh my God.
It's
You thought
truly,
I was smug, Cap.
It's truly. We said, you know, we all agreed at season start, we will see after 3 weeks what kind of team this Chargers team is, because it's 3 straight division opponents. I don't care who you root for. I don't care what team you are. 3 straight division opponents to start your season is brutal. And to do it without Rashawn Slater, to do it without your right tackle in this Broncos game, without Khalil Mack, I mean, they are losing pieces and they are still finding ways to win games. That is the mark right there of a contender, is when no matter what, you can find a way to pull these games off. And, you know, for past Chargers teams, they lose all 3 of these games.
Agreed.
Without a doubt. And
That's
so
true. That is true.
You really start to see the culture shift and the change in that locker room under Harbaugh. He's got them boys playing, and that defense, man, we talked about it. Coach, you know that this is what we've been waiting for. We knew Herbert had the talent to carry an offense, and with Keenan Allen back, man, things are looking up. Like, I mean, starting 3-0 in the division, man, that is unheard of. You're basically up 3, 4.5, 4 games on your entire division, not even a month into the season.
Yeah, and it's such a tough division at that. It's not like it's the AFC East where you just kind of got cakewalks. And
people were saying this was the toughest one in the AFC.
We were arguing in the preseason. We said, was it the North or was it the West? And, hey, it definitely is. I mean, nobody's chopped liver in this division, and it's the most well-coached division in all of football, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's nothing to sneeze at to be 3-0 in that division. I definitely share that sentiment with you for sure. For sure. All right, Coach Mike Dub, what you got over there for Contender Pretender?
I'll start with the Pretenders. For the Pretenders, I'm going to go with San Francisco. They're 3-0 right now, but I said it earlier in the offseason. I just felt like, it's a different, I don't know, it just feels different from the other San Francisco teams. Yes, they have a lot of injuries. Yes, they're still pulling out, wins, but I think eventually it's just going to catch up to them. Like they keep dropping like flies. And eventually it's just gonna catch up to them. So they've been able to squeeze out some pretty solid wins here, which is good for them, especially early on in the season. You want to stack them, try to get as healthy as possible so that you can go into the back end of the season looking well. But I'm just not a believer of the 49ers. I think it's going to catch up to them eventually. And for Contenders, I'm actually going to go and stay in that same division and say the Rams. Even though the Rams came up with they had a tough. Did I take yours? They had a tough loss this week. But I like what I'm seeing from the Rams. I like the good young defense. Even in the playoffs last year, they showed a lot of flashes. I think they got to tighten some things up on their secondary a little bit. Emmanuel Ford's former commander had a tough game out there against the Eagles, but I think that they really could. They're like just a tweak away from really being a solid, contender in the not only the NFC, but of course in the league, a team that nobody wants to see because they're going to give you trouble with their dogs at receiver, capable quarterback, veteran quarterback, solid run game, and then of course they got those pass rushers in Jared Verse and the rest of that young defense. So I like the Rams as a contender. I wouldn't jump off the bandwagon just because of that loss in Philadelphia, and I like the 49ers as a pretender.
Yeah, I agree. I think you need a loss like that in certain regards if you really want to, achieve your goals. So it kind of humbles you and lets you know that you need to get back to work and things are not going to come easy for you. But sure, I definitely believe that Rams loss to the Eagles is going to motivate them. And again, I will watch out if I'm the Colts. Because if they don't tighten up their bootstraps early, that game could get out of hand. It's in LA too. They got to go all the way to LA to travel to play the Rams. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one for them if they're not careful. So I definitely believe the Rams are gonna play pissed off football from now on. For sure. Captain Jack, what you got over there for Contender Pretender?
Well, I'm actually going to keep it all in the same state. Okay, not the same division, not the same state. And it's real obvious to me. You got a 3-0 team and an 0-3 team. Violator already denigrated our team. We'd actually have to improve to be a contender. We're MIA. So we're not even a pretender. We have to show something to be a pretender. So I'll one up Violator. It's very hard to one up Violator. Very hard to one up Violator.
Call it like it is. Call it like it is.
But trust me, oh my God, I wanted him in my show the other night because I was being frank and earnest. That's comics. See, frank and earnest.
I agree.
About all my stuff.
How did I get that reference?
Yeah. Wow. Hey, RG actually gets something that's okay. That's in my base. That's good. Here's the thought. Obviously, and I put the same Dolphin team amongst us. Okay, they should just throw their helmets on the field and just forfeit everything that they got.
Yeah,
because they're horrible. And the fact that McDaniel, he was the other guy, that has almost the same name as that that we had as our coach, but I think he's without the S, right? McDaniel, the guy who looks like a computer nerd that somehow got the job because he botched the resume, and they said, "Oh, you're hired." But yeah, he should just quit. I mean, his team quits on him. Tyreek Hill wants to go play in Japan for baseball, get it, go play for another, not even the same sport. He wants to go to baseball and play in Japan. Well, actually, he wants to go to Japan for other reasons, but that's marital stuff. Hey, I'm swinging. I'm not doing bad tonight. But yeah, everybody quits on him. He's going to be fired pretty soon. And the pretender, come on, the Tampa Bay Fake Pirates. They're 3-0. But really, is that a solid 3? I don't think it's a solid 3. The only thing that they haven't that in their favor is that the rest of the division sucks. So they might win by default, but I don't know. I just don't think that they are all that in a biscuit. And they're going to get their ass whooped this Sunday when the Eagles go to town. And it was funny that my buddy was looking for Bucks Eagles picks, and there was a pick on myself and Jamie Paye, Philly sports guy, that was in a Bucks Eagles montage, and he sent it to me. He said, "I was looking for Eagles Bucks picks, and look what came up, you bastard!" It's like, and it's me and Paye in the first row during that game, which was actually what the other kid, Jason Kelsey's last game. So we saw that.
Okay.
So that was the clip. But yeah, they're going to get their asses handed to them. And if I'm wrong, we'll see. We'll see. But I got some insight from a Bucks aficionado on that game, if that's one of the games that we're picking. I don't know if it was.
Let me see. It is. Yes, it is. We're actually.
Okay, I'll save some of the insights for that.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Alex Givens, what do you got on your docket for Contender Pretender?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the options are already gone. Pretender, I'll just go ahead and take the low-hanging fruit here and kind of jump in with RG in the AFC North. But the Cincinnati Bengals are also 2-1, and I don't see that sort of success being sustainable throughout the year.
Howard Brown.
Well, yeah.
You didn't like those 7 picks or 5 picks? I mean,
yeah.
2 weeks?
Well,
no.
Yeah. Yeah. They also have a negative point differential,
yeah.
RG, and are somehow 2-1. And Chiefs have a positive one, and they're 1-2. So hey, but I guess for contender, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. Do I want to be the in-house fan or just name?
Say it! Ah! That's my Kennison. That's my Sam Kennison.
Who's that?
I know who that is.
Yeah. What?
May he rest in peace.
When did he? Yeah. When did that? Yeah. I think for my contender, you know what? I'm just gonna say it, man. I think the Chiefs. Everyone's trying to write them off. Even you guys, act like they're just not even around anymore. And I think
Got him right back. Got him right back.
I think they're gonna pick it up. I think they're gonna bounce back. They had a decent game against the Giants. I think we're gonna have a quality game against the Ravens, and then we're right back to talking about them. So.
I will agree with you on that.
Get Worthy back, get Rice back. I think you definitely are definitely way better offensively than you have been. And the defense, and we're not going to say act like the defense are giving up mad points either. So they're going to be stout and they're going to be ready. So I'm not going to see them act like the next time we play y'all from a Charger perspective, it's going to be the same outcome. We're going to have to earn it again. That's for sure. That is for sure. So I definitely
but it was just crazy, man. I read an article of like one problem with every contender team, and the Chiefs weren't even on it. And I was like, what? Like, that's just crazy. The write-off so quick. Right. But I get it. It's like the Patriots, when they got bad, I was happy as hell about it. So
right.
I understand.
Right.
Well,
as long as you have Belichick and Brady, and as long as you have Mahomes and Reed, you got to.
They just need a running game and a running back that's not an idiot. And don't say that, Cap. Shut up.
As long as the NFL gives you Rice right before the Raider game, it does work.
I was waiting for a ref comment. I knew it was one of them. But yeah,
that's too obvious. I mean, that's without saying.
Indeed.
Cap, you would have lost that game with or without Rice being on that field. No offense.
He is back. He's back in the facilities now. So I will also say the other week they wore like free 4 shirts, and I was like, yeah, that was not it, boys. We should not have done that one. That was bad. That was bad.
Yeah, no, they didn't read the room on that one, that's for sure.
No.
4?
Rasheed Rice, where's number 4? So they had shirts that said like freed 4, and it's like, dude,
free. Yeah, I thought you said free 4, like 3-4. I'm sorry, I'm old. I'm sorry, I can't hear.
I got you. Okay, all right. So we'll keep monitoring this. We'll see where everybody's contender pretender teams land in the next few weeks, and maybe we'll do this in about 3 more weeks to see exactly how hot those takes were. That's for sure.
Speaking of hot takes, in self-pity.
Yeah, well, somebody could be. Who knows? Let's talk about the games of the week real quick before we get up out of here. So we got 4 games on the docket here. Some really good matchups this weekend. I'm here to tell you, and I think we kind of covered all these matchups in certain spaces about how we feel about these games of being delineation games or statement games for a lot of teams. So we got the Eagles at the Buccaneers to start off. Colts at Rams. We got the Ravens at the Chiefs, and we got the Packers at the Cowboys. Revenge game for Michael Parsons to round out the docket. So let's go back around the room reverse order. Let's talk about the Eagles and the Buccaneers. AG, what do you feel about this game, and who wins and who covers?
Yeah, I think the Eagles win this one, just outright, because you got banged up Bucks. I mean, Mike Evans is going to be out. Chris Godwin might come back, but who knows?
Right.
And I kind of echo the sentiment that what Cap said, that I think they are 3-0, but they're in a crappy division. They're probably going to do fine in their division and end up in the playoffs, but not do much past that. They're a decent team, but not the team.
Gotcha. Okay. Captain Jack, what is their insider voices telling you over there about this Buccaneers Eagles game?
And I'm going to give proper credit where it is. A gentleman who runs the Cannon Fodder podcast, my buddy, we both went to broadcast school together. I said, hey, give me your thoughts, because I know that I had a feeling that they were going to talk about this game, especially when he showed the picture of me and Paye when he was doing pictures for, an Eagles Bucks matchup. And I said, oh, yeah, that's this week. He goes, it's the offensive line, something that I know about personally as well, because we haven't found one yet. But he was talking about the fact that the Bucks don't have Wirfs back yet. Now, if Wirfs does come back, it might make it a little less painful to him. And I don't know the exact if I had my friggin' Facebook Messenger up, but basically it was this. The center's playing left tackle. They have a couple scrubs playing the other interior guys, and it's basically a guy out of position and scrubs around the rest of the line. That's the short version of that. If Wirfs comes back, then you'd have Wirfs play where he needs to play, and the center will come back to play in center. But that's still only 2/5 of the line.
Yeah.
He said that they're cast-offs and tradies, and I think they went to like the food bank and they looked for the biggest fat fucks out there. Sorry.
They do have that one guy from Florida that's like 400 or 500 pounds.
He plays defensive line, and he's the son of one of the people that I know, and he's not on the team.
I thought they just signed him back.
He just signed us to practice today.
Squad, yeah.
For the tush push.
Excuse me, I was on the road all friggin' day. I didn't catch that shot.
All right, Sam, pipe down.
Okay. But yeah, anyway, he does play defensive line, not offensive line.
Right.
To your modicum. It's going to be bad for the Bucs, and the Eagles are playing. I mean, did you see how fast the kid from Georgia ran that fumble back against the Rams at the end of the regulation?
And
he spelled.
Yeah, you realize he ran a 4.7. He ran a 4.740 in the combine at
320 pounds heavier than he is now.
Yeah.
Now he lost the back.
But
he was 360 last year, back to 330.
Yeah, he would. I mean, I tell you, if the Bucs are even, I'll say, I would give the Eagles 10 points.
Wow,
and they'd still cover it. They're gonna win soundly.
Okay, good stuff. Coach Mike, how do you feel about this game?
You know, it was actually, I thought it was going to be a little bit closer, or I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit closer than we think, simply because, I feel like Ibuka's going to have a really good game. But like Captain Jack said, the trenches is where it's going to happen, so the Eagles are probably going to pull it out. Interesting fact, though, the Eagles have lost to 2 teams in a whole year. One of them was the Bucs, and the other is the Commanders. Like, those are the only games they've lost in the calendar year, just about. Wow. Yeah, so that's it's kind of a crazy stat. And it's at Tampa Bay, so I think the Bucs will put up as much of a fight as possible, but the Eagles just have guys, so I'm going to take the Eagles.
Okay. RG, who'd you got in this game?
I'm going against the grain on this one. I'm going to take the Bucs in this game. I think, for one, the Eagles, Mike Dub kind of started a little bit, but I'll kind of finish the thought. So not only are the Bucs the only team, apart from the Commanders, to beat the Eagles in this last calendar year, but the Bucs have won 4 out of the last 5 matchups against the Eagles, and that dates back to like 2015. So whether it was Jameis, Brady, Baker, it does not matter. The Bucs, just for whatever reason, they have the Eagles number. The injuries are definitely a concern. The Mike Evans injury, to me, isn't as big of a concern, just because you do have Emeka Egbuka. In that Bucs preview video I did for their beginning of the season, I predicted, I hate to say it, but I did predict that Mike Evans was going to get injured at some point in the season. It makes perfect sense. That's why he drafted Egbuka. He slots right in, and that secondary can be had in Philly. So I think that it'll be a closer game than people think. I don't like the point spread anywhere on this, because the Eagles can easily squeak this out with the last-second field goal, and it's only 2.5, so you lose out on that. But I do think the Bucs can win this game, so I'm going to take the Bucs in this one.
Okay.
You need to go get your piss test right now, there, buddy.
Well, good thing we don't test for that on this network, so he's good for right now.
Let you know, right now I will fail that.
Oh, okay. Well, don't tell on yourself. SEC might be watching. Okay. All right, Violator, who you got in this matchup and why?
Eagles, short and sweet. The physicality, like I say, the Bucs are kind of banged up. And even though the Eagles was in a tough game with the Rams, they just got too many bodies, man, that just dominate. So Eagles and that whole minus 2.5, watch that.
Yeah, if it was a higher line for me, than 2.5 or a field goal, essentially, I would take the Bucs for sure. But I think the Eagles do at least win by a field goal, because I think Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are going to give them fits on their side. And they're going to just ultimately wreck the game for a makeshift, O-line, like Cap alluded to earlier, and how they just got a whole lot of shuffling going on in the O-line, and that's not good for playing elite D tackles in this game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I do believe that Eagles gonna win this game, especially with no Mike Evans. Mecca is still, he's good, he's great, that's my guy, but I'm not sure him by himself without Mike Evans or Chris Godwin.
That's what I was gonna say. I love Emeka, man, but this will be his first game without someone else to for the secondary to focus on. So
agreed. So you're gonna draw Quinyon Mitchell all day. It might be
he is a dog. I mean,
if
anyone can overcome that feat, I think it's Ibuka, but
yeah, so short of the Buccaneers, being able to run the ball on this D line, which I don't think they're gonna be able to do with those two dogs in the middle. I think it's gonna be a rough day for the Buccaneers. So I definitely take the Eagles in this one. All right, so go back around the room over. So the Colts and Rams, and we talked about this a lot in the earlier part of the show about how the Rams are, grinding their teeth at that loss against the Eagles. So with a 3.5 line for them at home, Violator, who you have in this matchup?
Taking the Rams and the points.
I like it. I think I share that same sentiment. I think they're gonna again. The Colts might, if the Colts aren't careful, they're gonna get both raced. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Rams are hungry in this matchup. That's for sure. That's my take on it as well. RG, who do you have in this matchup?
I'm with y'all. This is an easy Rams win, 3.5, whatever. You can make it 7. I think the Rams they want blood. They are thirsty, and this Colts team is not going to know what hit them.
Not at all. Indeed, Coach Mike Dub, who you have in this matchup?
Hey, Rams.
Okay, short and sweet. I like it.
Yep.
Cap Jack, who you got?
Rams 3.5, 7, 10.5, whatever the next one is, 14.
Right.
It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible to be a Colt. It's gonna be terrible.
Indeed. All right, to round it out, AG, who you got?
Rams. Yeah, same. I mean, I think, like I said, they're motivated. They pretty much capped Saquon pretty good last week, and I think they're going to do the same to Jonathan Taylor and then make it a Daniel Jones beat you game. So we'll find out if he's Indiana Jones.
If he's real. Yeah.
Or just Daniel. Or just Dan.
That's a fact.
Might be entering the Temple of Doom, known as SoFi.
He's
on
just
his
might
last
be.
crusade.
Indeed. I like that. Great references. Oh, that was good. All right, so let's start with you, AG, with the Rams Chiefs game. Ravens Chiefs game, excuse me. Ravens Chiefs, and Chiefs actually dogs at home by a field goal.
Second time.
Yeah.
Second time in as many home games this year. But yeah, I'm taking Chiefs at home.
Okay.
Shocker.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
That's why I started.
I'm going to provide the analysis there, I mean,
yeah. riveting analysis there, bud.
Until we revert back to the 2012 and a little earlier Chiefs, I'm always going to take them.
So, I like it.
You can find that in-depth analysis right here on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's the real
tomorrow
AG.
On my Kingdom Keys.
Yes, the Kingdom Keys video. Yes, we'll get more in depth. Cap Jack, who you got in this Ravens Chiefs matchup?
Wow. Wait a friggin' second. And I did hold back on the other F. Okay, it was friggin'. The other F slipped earlier. The fat fox drop. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the way the Ravens played, like I said, and again, I didn't really see a lot of the Monday night game. I actually got some sleep for this. That was last night, right? Yeah, I got some sleep for the ride I had up, and people were saying how bad the Ravens looked and how great that. The Lions look, which is good. The Chiefs have been playing stronger, so I'm gonna take the Chiefs in this one.
Oh, okay, all right. So on the Chiefs, Coach Mike Dub, what you got? Reverse psychology,
yeah.
Funny.
But I hope they lose.
Yeah,
there it is. You know he can't help himself. Indeed, Coach Mike Dub, who you got in this matchup?
I'm gonna take the Ravens. In a close one, but I think this is going to be the last loss we see before the Chiefs start to get a little bit of a run. So, it's a tough schedule for them. I don't think that it'll be a blowout, of course, by any means. But I think the Ravens may pull out a close one.
Okay, good stuff. RJ, who you got in this matchup?
Opposed to what Alex might think, no jinx here. Although I pray they lose. I think the Chiefs are going to pull this one out. I just think Baltimore's defense is terrifying. Yeah, terrifyingly bad.
Yes.
And Worthy looks like trending to that he'll possibly be playing this week. There was speculation he might go last week. They played it safe, so potentially he might go this week. But I just don't trust it at all. That Ravens team, we talked about it, has been known to, even if they have a double-digit fourth quarter lead, I still won't believe that game's over, and Mahomes is on the other side, so you certainly won't believe that game's over. And so, yeah, for that reason, I'll go with the Chiefs.
I like it. Violator, who you got in this matchup?
Regrettably, Chiefs.
Okay.
Someone say Ravens, coach. Do it.
It's like pulling teeth, right? The Violator could bust up the courage and say it almost. I like it.
But he hopes they lose too.
Right, yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, I know.
Indeed. Praying on their downfall. Yeah, it's a tough one for me because I don't like what the Ravens doing on defense. Their O-line sacking Lamar 7 times in that Lions matchup. That's concerning. The Chiefs do one thing well week in and week out. They stop the run well. So is Derrick Henry going to be a factor? They're playing at home at Arrowhead. If it's Worthy plays, I'm really trending towards saying the Chiefs might actually win this ball game. But just seeing Mahomes and Lamar go at it, man, I just love to see that. I don't care who wins, to be honest with you. But if I got to pick one, I got to pick one. I honestly, truly think, especially for the Ravens' morale, I think they need another humbling loss. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
And you're lying when you said I don't care who wins this one. That's a lie. If Maury was here on the show, and it turns out that was a lie.
I will say the X factor is the Ravens are terrible against the run so far, and the Chiefs cannot run the ball to save their lives. So they're gonna have to figure that out.
We'll have to figure that out.
And Pacheco, I guess, forgot how to play football, or just the rules are what's a live ball or not. So
he has not been the same since that broken leg.
No, he has not.
I think this is going to be one in the air, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So last matchup, we got the Packers at the Cowboys. Michael goes back to AT&T Stadium to give revenge on his old team. So, Violator, who you got in this matchup? Is a 7-point spread in this one for the Packers. Who you got?
You can spread it by 14. I got Packers in this one. This is a revenge game. They're going to downplay it, but you already know what's going to happen. Dak, he won't get spit at this time. He's going to get hit on.
Yeah. I think no CeeDee Lamb. No CeeDee Lamb either. Yeah, it's going to be rough for the Cowboys. I'm with you. I get it might be a 10 to 14-point dog walking in this one. I'm with you there. I'm saying the Packers as well. RG, who you got in this matchup?
Just echoing y'all. I mean, 21, whatever you want to make this line, Packers are going to absolutely decimate this Cowboys team. The only reason I would have pause about taking such a large line is Cowboys and Dak specifically are the queens of just getting that garbage time. Yep. So they can backdoor cover, without even really realizing it. So, but yeah, this Packers easily.
Indeed. Coach Mike Dunn, who you got in this matchup?
Packers, and I got them to cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jack, who you got?
Well, first off, let's not talk about the backdoor covers, you bastard. That's sexual content right there. You're talking about me. He's talking about a backdoor cover. I haven't even said it. Well, actually, I have said something sexual, but that was another person. Okay? That was another person. So how about them Cowboys losing their ass? That's the name of that tune.
That was a good one, Cap. Oh, that was one of your better ones right there.
Losing their ass.
All right, AG, bring it home for us. Are you jumping on the bandwagon with us, or you going lone wolf?
I don't know that it'd be jumping on the bandwagon. I think it's just being objective. Because their Cowboys defense is just terrible. I mean, we talked about it pre-show. First team since 2021 Stanford to not sack Caleb Williams in a game, and then make him look like he's just slinging dots out here. So I think Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur and Josh Jacobs are going to have a pretty good day against their defense.
I agree. So we're all on the Packers. So maybe we should have bet the over/under on sacks for Michael Parsons versus the line.
I was just about to say, look out for the prop video because the Micah Parsons sack is probably going to be.
What did he say today? He said something corny as hell. But I'm gonna bring pain or something like sacking that.
He missed the opportunity here. So you gotta channel your inner Clubber Lang for your Rocky 3 fans.
Yes.
He said, "What is your prediction for the overall fight?" Prediction?
Pain.
A prediction? Pain. And so, that's what he should have did. Yes.
I've never seen Rocky 3.
What?
I have. I'm saying he might not have. I don't know.
Yeah, good point. It's still un-American not to see Rocky 3 though. It's still un-American. He needs to get on that if he hasn't. But
Yes, every week or so. I like.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, you need to watch the movie if you hadn't, so that's for sure. All right, so that's our games of the week. So as we wrap up the show, we like to get out any type of hot takes that's burning in our soul, in our psyche, that it might be something that might come to fruition throughout the week in the NFL from Thursday to Monday night. Can I caveat before we say this that the NFL really missed the mark on picking the Monday night games this week? Like, it's gonna be a snooze fest. I might go to bed early on Monday.
I'm not watching those, man.
It's just gonna be bad. Those Monday night games are bad. But
Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Broncos.
Yeah,
quite literally the worst possible matchups.
And can we flex games this early? I mean, it's really bad. Like, it's just those games overseas and let the other guys play on Monday night. But that's all I'm conversation.
Yeah, combined 3-9 record from those 4 teams
Jesus
on that day.
Christ, what are we doing out here? The ratings gonna be terrible.
Three.
Yeah,
all 3.
But collectively, I'm going to throw it up, as a jump ball. Anybody got any hot takes that you want to get off your chest before we get up out of here?
I'm gonna just say one. I think that Jackson Dart will be making his first start, of course, against you guys' Chargers. Yeah. I think it'll be a struggle. I think it'll be a struggle for him. I really do. I think the first game, I think he's just going to get a lot thrown at him, and I think it's going to be a rough go for it.
Damn it,
really
Mike!
Don't him out against Justin Miller's defense.
That's criminal, man.
Yeah,
that's criminal.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I was going to take the polar opposite hot take just solely based off what RG said last week about the Giants and Chiefs game, but I can't now. People don't forget, Robert. I think your hot take was Russ is going to go off.
Hey, man, all I'm gonna say is if that man doesn't get strip sacked by Mahomes, we're having an entirely different discussion. That was absolutely criminal. Whoever that was, you should be banished from any locker room, because how the hell, as a defensive lineman, do you get the ball taken away from you by a quarterback? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Okay. All right. Any other hot takes around the room before we wrap it up?
Violator, you want to do the one that we've been alluding to all
I'm gonna let you do that one because we're on the same page. Go for it.
Okay, and if I don't say it correctly, Violator will enhance
Go
us.
for it.
I need those fat foxtrots. Okay, I cleaned it up. Mm-hmm. I need them to line up outside the training facility in Henderson. Okay. And I'll go out there. I fly in on Thursday. So if they allow, scooters and canes, I'll still be out there. The Raiders will not win a game unless it's by accident. And I got to look for the schedule. I got to find a victory somewhere. It might be this week because, if the Browns could beat the Packers, anything is possible. But the Raiders will not have a real win until they figure out their offensive line woes. It's something that they should have fixed. They did draft 2 guys in the draft. And pretty soon, those bastards need to play along with my boy, Laki Tassi, who's 6'5", 3-something, and just throws people because he's a rugby player. He needs to be in there as well. So the Raiders need to identify this. You need to get Alex Crappa in the crap heap. You need to get JPJ, and this is true. They said that they didn't start JPJ because it was a short week and he was coming off of his migraines. he played 2 snaps on special teams. What the frick is that? That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. And I tell you what, Coach, I like Pete Carroll, but there's something going on there, and I'm pretty sure, and I have it on a good source, that I think JPJ's in the doghouse.
Yeah.
I have a feeling he's in the doghouse because of that crap that's being exhibited. Okay, maybe they want to buck him down because he told AP out in the center, and that's the way it is. I don't know, but it's crap what they're doing with JPJ, okay? He needs to be in there playing somewhere. And you need to get those other 2 guys in there, Grant and Rogers. They need to play. And and if Laki Tassi can't go and throw somebody out, then he needs to throw out Carroll's son as the offensive line coach. That is a friggin' hot take.
Okay.
Like it. Thank you, brother.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic on him. Okay.
Drop something heavier on them, Coach.
Oh, for me?
Drop something heavier on them.
Oh, right. Okay, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Looking at your schedule though, the Titans are coming up in 2 weeks. That might be a juicy matchup for the Raiders, but we'll see how that goes in a few weeks. Outside that, because you got the Bears, the Colts, and then the Titans. Yeah. So yeah.
Maybe the Titans, maybe Houston at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So maybe 3,
Maybe.
and then we'll be picking top 5. So there we go.
Quarterback? I know we're jumping
I
in.
know.
Yeah, okay. Okay, good stuff. All right. Works for me. Okay. All right, gentlemen. So that it for the hot take segment. Do we got anything else burbling to the surface?
I'm
Good.
That's it.
All
Not much spice.
I'm sorry if I quieted the room. I've been.
Yeah, you dropped a bomb on us.
Yeah, can't follow that up.
Can't
You're right.
I apologize because Violator and myself, Wayne and myself, have been seething about that since we saw the game in Vegas. We've been seething about it, and hopefully we can. And again, all y'all are invited on my shows to talk about your teams anytime. Sorry, that's a what do you call it? A crossbred plug. But,
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Thank you.
There you go.
crossbred plug.
Yeah,
You
that's it. It's a plug.
Yeah.
can use the word butt in there, so we good.
Yeah, well, it's a plug. And notice I didn't say what a plug could be used for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Keep it PG. All right, so that's gonna wrap up our show for this week. As always, we go live each and every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Lockdown Divas Sports Network. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Get our YouTube algorithm jumping and moving so we can get up to our monetization level goals, so we can get that rolling. If you're looking for the Hit Squad in any facet for Commanders, Chiefs, or Chargers content, here's their socials there on the screen here. Coach Mike Dubb is our Commanders insider. Alex Givens is our Chief insider. And Robert is our Chargers insider. So, hit them guys up if you need any information. DM on Twitter or Instagram, depending on what your fancy is. If you're looking for the NFL Nation live crew, here are their socials. We got Ref Guru on Twitter. We got Violator on Twitter. We got Captain Jack Rackham on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. So if you hit these guys up for any Raiders content or any ref questions you want to get answered, it's always got our ref segment on this show. If you want to come on live and do that as well, that is available to you. If you're looking for the Lockdown Divas Sports Network, there's our socials there. We're on pretty much every platform that is major for social media content. So if you're looking for any general NFL news, for any daily content news, please hit us up on our socials. We'll get those questions answered for you in short order. And if you're looking for our subsidiary channel, the Electric Shock Podcast channel for Chargers content with myself and Young RG, bring you content weekly for Chargers Insider News if you want more in-depth content there. We're going live each and every week to recap games, preview games, and do our NFL shorts and our takes and our updates throughout the week. So check us out there, Electric Shock Podcast, throughout the whole entire stratosphere. And as always, if you're looking for fantasy football advice, the Lightning Fast Fantasy Football Podcast goes live each and every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself and the real AG Alex Givens. We give our fantasy football advice for a quick Lightning Fast hour to get you ready each week for your fantasy football matchups. So if you're looking for us there, please drop us a line there. Hit our subscribe buttons on each of those channels and get the algorithm moving in that direction so we can get our monetization level groups and goals up there in quick order. We appreciate everybody's support. As always, appreciate everybody that's come through for the chat for our entire 2 hours. Appreciate everybody's that's been rolling. But going around the room real quick, Violator, my good brother, we appreciate you. Real AG, Coach Mike Dubb, Captain Jack Rackham, Young RG, we appreciate y'all, you good brothers as always, man. And any final words, any final takes before we get up out of here?
Bolt up, baby. Go Chargers.
Indeed. Share that sentiment always. All right. Okay. But that'll do it for us this week. Like I said, we'll be back next week as always with our live show each and every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Standard Time right here on this channel. Hit us up if you need us, and then we'll be back next week with another week 4 recap. But in the meantime, between time, that is the Hit Squad rolling through. NFL National Live crew. Myself, Coach Divas, is your host. Until next week, we'll see you when you see you.
Yarr.
Step up.
Yarr.
Lock it down.